How's it going, Cosmonauts? I'm Cosmic and welcome back. Today we're back with another Marvel Rivals video. Today we're back with another round of concepts, this time being for more Guardians of the Galaxy as suggested by Silverfish. Yes, I see you, Silverfish. Hi. Although Silverfish did suggest that we do Gamora, Drax, and Yondu, I like to focus on the comic side of the characters when making these, at least most of the time. And in Yondu's case, he's kind of hard because there's either the movie one or the comic one, and they're pretty different. And I feel like the comic version would be too close to a Hawkeye clone. Plus, I wanted a specialist, so I swapped him out for Cosmo. So we have our Vanguard being Drax, our Duelist is Gamora, and our Strategist is Cosmo. We will start with Drax, although I had to do quite a bit of research for these characters. I'm not very familiar with Guardians myself, other than the movies, so I did some research, found out some cool stuff. So I'm going to fill you on a little bit of information that I found out while I was researching these guys, before I talk about the concept I did. So, some cool things that are notable. So Drax can fly in the comics, at least he used to be able to, as well as he used to have like kind of more cosmic power abilities, so he could shoot cosmic beams out of his hands, similar to how Nova Head does, as well as being ridiculously indestructible. That's the word I'm looking for. Like, bro survives like planets imploding and stuff, and it's just okay. So that kind of leads into our passive for Drax, which is called Extra Resilient. So Drax's skin is extra tough, and it takes about 20% less damage from melee-based attacks due to his just insane durability. Like I said, he can fly in the comics, so I did want to pay homage to that by allowing him to glide, similar to how Magneto does. His first attack is called Wrathful Daggers. Drax rips and tears through enemies in his path. Pretty basic dagger combo idea. Most people are familiar with him having the daggers, so I felt like it was fitting for him to have them here. His secondary attack is Drax's energy beams from his hands. So Drax blasts his enemies with a powerful energy beam. Imagine similar damage to, like, similar or more, I would say more damage than the Thing's, what's it called, Haymaker, but it does further range damage and has a higher cooldown. Into Drax's first ability, it is called Titan Breaker. This is a command grab similar to your Emma Frost grab. Drax will dash forward into a grab. If Drax makes contact with an enemy, he puts them into a grab, and this leads into a Batista Bomb. So as most people know, in the MCU he is played by Dave Bautista, so I felt like it was only fitting to give Dave Bautista's signature move to Drax in Marvel Rivals. This leads into his second attack being called You Cannot Break the Destroyer. And this is his block. Basically, Drax crosses his arms in front of him. This blocks all incoming damage from the front, protecting his teammates behind him. Pretty simple block. And this leads into our final ability, his ultimate, being Thanos Will Fall. Drax enters an enraged state. This doubles his health, as well as lowering all of his cooldowns, and gives him a movement buff. This lasts for 10 seconds. So yeah, just a similar to kind of like a Dark Child kind of thing, where you just get a bunch of health and cooldowns are nothing. Although he doesn't get a damage increase, I did want to state that he just gets a cooldown lowering. So his team up is called Like I Was Never There. It is a team up between him and Invisible Woman. This gives Drax a new passive that allows him to turn invisible whenever he stands still for more than 2 seconds. But this only lasts until he starts moving again. Yes, this is a little reference to how Drax thinks he can turn invisible.
Master the ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye.
Next up, we have our duelist, which is Gamora. And let's just go over some of the little basic information that I found out while I was looking at Gamora information. First off, unlike in the movies, she more so has an off-again, on-again relationship with Adam Warlock instead of Star-Lord, as well as Richard Rider Nova, who is leaked. He's not in the game yet, but you know what I mean. As well as she bangs the one and only Anthony Edward Stark, so yeah. She's also BFFs with Angela, which adds up. And in the comics, there is this team called Infinity Watch that is brought together after Infinity War, led by Adam Warlock, and he basically creates a team to protect each Infinity Stone. And Gamora is a part of that team, and she is the holder of the Time Stone. So that will all lead into her moveset. Let's start that off by talking about her passives. She can double jump, that's one basic passive. She can also wall hang with her sword, not wall climb, just hang. Her passive is called Neurological Implants, her main one anyway. So this is a new system called Star State. So basically, she has 3 ticks she needs to build up on an enemy that will cause them to enter a stun state. So any damage that she does with her fists adds to the star state. So a basic melee is 1+ on a star state, as well as her attacks add to star state. Her first attack is called Daughter of the Titan. It is a sword combo that I based the swing pattern off of the Milady Light Greatsword from Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I just love the swing pattern, and I think it would fit Gamora pretty good. As well, I did want to state that the sword does not add anything to the star state. Another reference to a Souls game. This is Knife Throw. Gamora does basically a backflip and throws 3 knives in front of her in a fan spread. This is based off of Crocles from Dark Souls 3's Ashes of Ariandel DLC. This also does not add to the star state. Next up is her first ability. It is called the Deadliest Woman in the Galaxy. Gamora dashes forward while charging a punch. This does a good amount of damage, as well as adds 2 ticks to your 3 that you need to activate Star State. So basically you could do the Gamora dash into a melee and that would activate Star State. As well as if you do land this, you can also line it up with your next ability, which is called Think You Could Run. Gamora quickly draws and shoots a powerful blast from an energy revolver, and this adds 1 star to your star status. Into Gamora's ultimate. Gamora's ultimate is called Guardian of the Time Stone. Gamora uses the power of the Time Stone in an AoE fashion, basically making a ring around her. Any enemies that are inside of this ring get slowed down to an extreme amount. Basically, it's a death sentence if you step in this ring. It shouldn't be very large, but it should be big enough to be a threat. And it lasts a few seconds. That leads us to the bestest of boys, Cosmo. There's not really much to Cosmo. He tends to be pretty well represented, especially in the movies. The only big change is they changed it from a male dog to a female dog. No big deal. The only thing it really changes is the voice. Which, yet again, as long as they have a Russian accent, that's all that matters. For one change I did want to iterate for my version of Cosmo, most of the time he is the security chief of Nowhere, which is the colony we see in the Guardians movie. So in my version, I did want to state that I have made Cosmo the leader of Nowhere instead, which will come in later. We'll start with his passive. His passive is called Teleglide. Using Cosmo's telekinesis, he is able to make himself float and glide for a short amount of time. His first and only attack is called Psychic Bolt. This is basically just a bolt that goes out and heals teammates and damages enemies, similar to like Dagger or an Invisible Woman, similar to that. This leads into his abilities. His first ability is called Comeback Conrad. Using Cosmo's psychic powers, he can grab a teammate and pull them to safety. This also can be used on enemies, so do watch your aim when you do this. I did want to state I want the animation for this to be Cosmo biting down on a blue telekinetic leash and pulling it back. Thought that'd be cool. So yes, this is basically Marvel Rivals equivalent of like a white Life Weaver grab. His next attack is called Boosting Bark. This allows you to buff one of your teammates. This is a damage and damage negation buff that lasts roughly 15 seconds. Reversal Field is his final ability. Cosmo makes a force field in front of him. Any damage that goes into the force field is reflected and now can be shot back to damage the enemies. Leading into the final thing for Cosmo. Not really, I guess he has a team up, but his ultimate, which is called Welcome to Nowhere. Being the leader of Nowhere, he summons the world into the space above the map, where it shoots down lasers down onto a targeted AoE area. This does tick damage to enemies and also heals teammates. This is based off of the scene from the Guardians of the Galaxy game. If you know, you know. Into our final team up of our video today, and that is, of course, called Safety Net. So this is a team up between Spider-Man and Cosmo. This allows Spider-Man to web teammates together, so he can web up to 3 teammates together. I did want to state that this would not, if they walk out of range, it doesn't hold them together, it detaches, but if they're in range, they stay connected. But if Cosmo does his Comeback Conrad on any of those enemies that aren't attached together, he'll pull back all of them. So in sense, this could be used in a moment when, say, an It's Jeff comes out, he swallows everybody except for Cosmo and Spider-Man, and goes to spit them out. Spider-Man can save up to 3 of his teammates by stringing them together and having Cosmo pull them back in. And with that, that brings us to the end of this. I hope you enjoyed. I do have an interesting idea for the next set of concepts, so do keep an eye out for that. That should be coming hopefully in the next month or so. These ones take a little bit longer to make because it takes quite a bit of research to get some of these movesets together, especially for the ones that I know very little about. It makes it even harder. So yeah, if you liked the video, please leave it a like. If you disliked it, you can always dislike it. If you really want to help me out, you can always subscribe. It is free, and we are trying to hit 500 subs by like the end of the year. If we could do that, it'd be fucking sick. If you made it this far in the video, you are an MVP. Thank you for watching. Peace.